In our modern work world, and especially with the modern tools, SaaS tools that we're using, a lot of the processes are still broken because the tools and departments are not communicating to each other. So let's look at the example of connecting an HR tool like Personio with the work management tool Asana. Typically, what you would do in a project management office is you would plan resources for the next weeks and months for the projects that you're planning, and you would gather manually the data, who is on vacation at what time, is there an Excel file, who's remote, who works with customers, and so on. And typically this data is already available in the HR department where people enter their vacation requests, home office, and so on in a tool like Personio. The problem is the tools Personio and Asana are not communicating with each other. So instead of syncing the data, most companies run back and forth in meetings and email cadences to really gather data manually, and this takes a lot of resources. It's unnecessary time that is wasted. The better solution is to connect Personio and Asana to let the data sync. So if someone requests a vacation day off or like a week off in Personio, that this data syncs to Asana, creates a project, and this project is synced with all the data, the necessary absence times, and so on, and can then be used for workload management to see who's absent at what time, whom can I assign a task to, and whom not, because the person is off or with a customer, right? So this is a game changer to save tons of meetings and alignment calls and email back and forth, but just letting the data and the tools talk to each other. And now we're going to look at how that exactly works and how this looks like from a user interface. The technical part, you can reach out to us if you want to know how to connect the API. It's fairly simple. We can help you with that. But now let's look at the user interface, how this looks like and how it will help you and your team to save many hours of stress and alignment. Let's go. Okay, so typically how Personio or a tool like Personio looks like is that every employee has a login. And in the HR department, you can see all the employees on the left side. This is just an example here. And you see that also with the different colors, that someone is on paid vacation or someone is remote, someone that's a customer visit. So all of this is tracked anyways and is needed in most companies so that not only the HR department, but ideally also the rest can resource plan. But again, this data here is usually not connected with the tools that the other departments use to do project management. So this is what the HR department people see, and what they would do is they would maybe export a CSV file and then send through an email the CSV file to the project manager, and that's obviously something we want to avoid. So how do we get this data and this visibility as well? Because it looks really easy, it's easy to understand, it's easy to manage. How do we get that in our project management tool Asana? Let's look right into it. So here we're looking at a team within Asana, and what we can see is the people in the team and the information, but most importantly, the projects the team is working on. And me as a project manager, I want to see the capacity of these projects. I'm going to look at that in a bit, but also I want to see the absences. So what we did is we synced the data from the Personio entries to Asana. And what's the best thing is, you can see, this is now also an example here, the same people that added their information in the Personio view, it looks the very same, it's just the names are different here in the example, is synced to Asana, to the project management tool, and you see when people are on vacation, when they have customer visit, and this is real-time data. So whenever something in Personio is changed, it also changes in Asana. So me as a project manager, first of all, but also as a team member, I can see who's off and who's visiting customers for how long, how many days, and also what capacity is going to be missed in that case. So typically what many project managers do to do resource management is to click here on a portfolio in Asana. If you're not familiar what a portfolio is, we have videos and more explainers about it. But here we're going to look at a portfolio, and we're going to see that the person has all the projects here that are important to manage, and we have the absence project also synced in the portfolio. The portfolio in Asana comes with a feature called workload. In workload, to sum it up, you have all the people that work in the projects in your team, and you can see what projects they work on. So let's open it here. We see that Jamie's working on this project, that Justin works on no project at the moment, Louis works on that project, and so on, right? And what you can also see is that each person has also the absence project in the timeline. And you can see, for example, that Chris is on home office, he's remote here, he's on a customer visit here, it takes 5 hours, and he's on vacation. So here, obviously, we're over exaggerating with the data just to make it very visible. He has a task here within a project to do, but you see he's really overworked. There's way too much capacity planned because he's on vacation. So ideally, we give him more time, or we reassign part of the tasks to other people. The same is true for Jamie, who's on vacation here, and you see, oh, there's a capacity problem because she's working on this task, and we ideally would give her more time, or we would assign the task to someone else. So let's look how this can work. So I just created a new task for Jamie, test task. And what I can do is I can see it's not really looking well here. So I can just drag and drop the task, and I see Justin is available, and I could assign it to Justin, to his projects. And we see if we move it to the right week that he would be available. Obviously, we would need to move it in the right projects and so on. We can actually do that right now. So adding it to the right project, we're moving it here. And now we can see, all right, it's in the right project. He has capacity, and we removed it from Jamie. So this is how easy it is to plan your capacity with Asana when the data is synced from a tool like Personio. So you're able to, as a project manager, to know who's available when. So if you're interested in learning how the APIs work, it's a data sync between the IDs of the accounts in Asana and in Personio. It's fairly easy to do. And we're here to help you if you're interested in connecting the two tools and to help you do the resource planning.